Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Welcome back to the channel. This is where I take all your questions that you asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for joining me here on this week's Q&A. I always say this in every Q&A, but honestly, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for every single person. Even if you've watched one video or two videos, I really appreciate it. The reason I do this is because of people like you. And if you weren't watching it, I wouldn't be doing it. So thank you very, very much. Now, I was just looking. There's a ton of questions this week, which is good. Basically, I'm going to answer any and all questions. There is nothing off the table. If I don't get to your question, I'm very, very sorry. Ask it again down below and I'll get to it next week. I film these typically on a Monday or a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday afternoon, which means if you don't get the question in by sort of a Monday, it ain't going to get listened to, in which case ask it next week. And also, I don't sit down and read these questions beforehand. You're getting my raw and filtered opinions. If I think a question deserves a longer video, I will get to that longer video at some point down the line. With that all being said, there is like I say, a metric ton of videos this week. So thank you for everyone that's taken the time to type a question out, and we're going to get straight into it. So here we go. We're going to get going this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question, we're going to go straight into Divish Magician, who says, I want to do the solution by Michael Murray in Mix and Mingle, but I'm worried that after the spectators will talk to each other about it and the spectator that solved it will involuntarily tell them I wasn't actually twisting the order of the cube. The other people will then ask what they mean, and they may even do an action to show how they were actually turning it. I feel like this would massively make the trick less powerful to everyone. I understand that if that's the case, it's still impressive how the cube managed to solve in the first place. But even then, is it an issue that you've ever heard people talking about this, or am I overthinking it? I personally think you're overthinking it, to be honest, Divishan. Could they talk about it afterwards? Absolutely, yes. Might they talk about it? Yes, but you're kidding yourself if you don't think lay people talk about everything. You know, go, you know, you'll hear it all of the time. They'll, you know, they talk about the magic. That's the whole point of magic. It's conversational, and there's a lot of people out there that like to try and figure out how things are done and try to figure out method. You know, you'll hear people going, I've got no idea how this is done. Oh, I think I've got a solution. Don't worry about it, because here's the thing. They don't know. They're just guessing. If they speak to the person, the thing about the solution is it's very dual reality. And what I mean by that is it's not like it's an instant stooging thing where the person who's mixing the cube behind their back is in on it. That's not the case at all. It's dual reality. So they're just perceiving a different trick to the rest of the audience. So from their point of view, they took a cube behind their back, they turned it a few times and it's solved. It's just as amazing to them as it is to everybody in the audience. So even if, worst case scenario, they turn around and say, oh, were you mixing it? And they went, oh, no, I was just turning it. You've still got this incredible moment of how the hell did it solve where you were nowhere near it, and it was in their hand because they saw it mixed. They put it in. They saw it mixed. They saw you put it into the spectator's hands. You never then went anywhere near that spectator, and the cube solved itself. So honestly, don't stress about it. Is there a chance that they might think, "Oh right, I thought." You know, what's the worst case scenario that'll happen? Somebody will go, oh, I thought you were mixing it and you solved it. And they go, no, I was just holding it. It's solved in my hands. You know, if I told you that I could teach you a trick where you put a cube into a spectator's hands and it solves and you're nowhere near them, you'd think that was a pretty damn good trick. Well, that's the trick that they've just seen. So, yeah, I think you're thinking of it like a magician, to be perfectly honest. I don't think many people have performed the solution as much as I have, and Ryland does it in every single show. And it's just strong. It's ridiculously strong. And it gets an incredible reaction. And will there be a situation where somebody who thought that it was solved by the spectator realizes it wasn't? Yeah. Does that really make a difference? No, I don't think it does. Honestly, I really don't think it does, but that's a decision that you have to make. All I can tell you is from my experience, I've never had an issue with the solution at all. And it's one of the best cube type routines that you can do. At least that's my opinion. Okay, so the next question again is from Magic Kyle, 1990. Hello, Magic Kyle, who says, "Hey, Craig. Hey. One of my favorite plots in Magic is the moving hole, and I'm wondering what your favorite looking moving hole is, purely from an aesthetic perspective, versus which one do you consider the most practical and the most workable?" I think the one that I think looks the best is Carl Purnell's got some great work on moving hole plot. Some really great work on the moving hole plot. Let me see if we can find it. Carl Purnell's got some incredible moving hole, and it comes up with, "Are you moving house?" Moving hole, Kyle Purnell. There you go, Carl Purnell. Okay. Yeah, Wholesome. There you go, Wholesome. So Wholesome by Kyle Purnell, which is a impromptu moving hole. The method behind it is brilliant. It's on a download at Penguin for $10. And as it says here, it's the perfect moving hole on a signed card. Clever, examinable, and works with any deck. Here's the ad copy. The card is selected and signed. A hole is very clearly and cleanly punched in this corner of the signed card. And the card box is used to drag the hole from one side of the card to the other. The audience can clearly see through the hole before and after it's moved. The box is put down, and at the performer's fingertips, the hole is moved once again, dragging it across the card. The card can then be given away as a souvenir of an impossible memory. No gimmicks, no special gadgets. You just need a deck of cards and a hole punch. So that one is incredible. It's really, really good. I love that one. It's very, very practical. I'd also say the new one by Kayla Morelli that me and Ryland reviewed recently. Rye's been doing that an awful lot in close-up, and that gets a great reaction, especially if you put it on a wallet. And, I was at Magic Live watching him do this, and people were freaking out, and it's the thing that everybody was talking about. So the Kayla Morelli one is good. As a moving hole, you see that hole moving around all over the place. It's crazy, right? So those two are good. My absolute favorite moving hole, that's also probably one of the most practical, is I'm going to give you two, but second place and first place. So second place, you got Mike Powers and Holy Terror, which is amazing, and you can see the latest version of that in Power Plays, I think it is, which is his book. And my favorite one is the Pothole Trick by Michael Close. I remember the first time I saw Michael do that, I fell in love with this trick. And I think it's the best in terms of the solution that Michael Close has come up with. It's not about a hole moving in a playing card. It's about a story that you're telling them about moving a pothole down the street. And it's so interactive, and it's so interesting. The hook is wonderful. And I love the fact that at the end, the hole is dragged outside their house. Just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant thinking by Michael Close. And it's one of my favorites. A big shout out as well to Dave Forrest, because his Acme portable hole is very, very good. And I tell you what, while we're on the subject of UK magicians that do great tricks with moving holes, let's also have a look at Gary Jones. Gary Jones has got a great moving hole on Penguin. I can't remember what it was, but Cartoon Capers, I think, from memory. Let's have a look. Cartoon Capers by Gary Jones, in stock at Penguin Magic. That's a really good one. And it's got a great premise. I haven't done this one for a while. The card you transfer to the hole 2 was a signed chosen card, not just signed a little, it was signed all over, up and down. The hole even is removed as part of their signature. It's insane. It's really great. Gary's solution to the moving hole plot is brilliant. So any of those, I love the moving hole as well, as you can probably tell. Any one of those moving holes is great. Everyone works really well. But I'm gonna give you one more, because you asked me my opinion. I'm gonna have to say my favorite moving hole plot is either Keymaster or Gatekeeper, because it's kind of a little bit like the Michael Close handling, in that it's organic. It all makes sense because the hole is moving on a key. You know, the hole is already there on a key. There's already a hole there. So when you start moving it down the stem and you move it from one place to another and you move it back again, it all makes absolute sense because it's a key. You would expect a hole to be there, right? You don't have to punch a hole in the card because a hole's there to begin with. So I'd say Keymaster and Gatekeeper especially as well. Both of those work really well as portable hole routines. And if you have got Keymaster, have a look at the routine where I use the business card and I punch a hole in the business card and they sign the business card and I punch a hole in it on a key in the head, and then I move the hole on a real key down to the stem, and then the hole on the business card moves down to the stem as well. That's a really super fun routine. So any of those I would give a big shout out to, and thanks for asking the question. That's a great question. Okay, so the next question is from Just Josh 483. How you doing, buddy? And Just Josh 483 said, question for you, Craig. I've heard that going through event planners can be a good way to get more gigs. However, how do you find these event planners? Do you just Google event planners near me and hope someone pops up with an email or a phone number to call? Event planners are a great way to get more gigs because event planners plan events. And they normally have to plan every single aspect of that event. So they have to plan, you know, the venue, the catering, depending on the event planner and where they work and what they offer. But they'll definitely have to plan in entertainment as well. And most event planners are looking to try and do something unique. So as a magician, if you can offer something unique and different, like in this country, tech magic is very popular at the moment. If you can offer something that's a little bit different to the norm, then they're going to be all over you like melted butter. They're going to really, really, really want to have you at you know, on their books. But here's the thing. It's not just a simple case of ringing up an event planner. It's not just a simple case of finding an event planner and ringing them up. Let me explain why. They don't know who you are for Adam. This event planner, if they've been doing it for any length of time, they've probably got other magicians that they need or use on a regular basis. They've probably got other contacts. They've probably been in this industry for a long time. And they've probably got people that they use. So the question is, how do you get on their radar? Well, simply sending them an email going, hey, my name's Josh and I'm a magician. And I would like to be your magician for your event planning company. Hey, send me an email back. It's not going to happen, right? So what you have to do is it's a little bit like networking in that you have to put a little bit of time and effort into it. You know, networking, it's not net eating, it's not net sitting, it's networking. You've got to work at it. So there's a couple of different things. First of all, you have to establish credibility with that event planner. So you need to let that event planner know that you're very, very good at what you do and that you can be trusted and that you're reliable and you're going to turn up and you're going to do a great job every single time. You've also got to build up a relationship with that event planner. And that a big part of that is getting them to know you, getting them to like you, and getting them to trust you. Because here's the thing, if you just ring them out the blue and go, hey, I'm Craig, I'm a magician, please use my services, they're never going to go, okay, I've got an event that I'm working on. Please, can you come and do magic at my event? That's not going to happen, right? You've got to build up this relationship. They're not going to use you with their events unless they know you, they like you, and they can trust you. So it's about building a relationship with those people. And the other thing it's about is givers gain. Now, givers gain means if you give them business, they're going to want to give you business. So ask not what the event planner can do for you, but what you can do for the event planner. Imagine that you are an event planner and you plan events all of the time. And now imagine that you've already got a few magicians that you work with. And some magician rings you up and goes, hey, hi, is that Sarah? Hi, Sarah, I hear you're an event planner. I'm a magician. Can I meet you? And I'd like to talk to you about how we can work together. They're probably not going to be that receptive. Now imagine if the phone call went like this. Hey, is that Sarah? Yeah, I understand that you're an event planner. Is that right? Correct? Yeah. I've been given your details. Let me introduce myself. My name's Craig, and I am a magician. I work in the same area as you, and I perform literally corporate events and weddings and private parties all over the UK. Now, I've got a client that's booked me for a wedding, and they're looking for somebody who can supply a bunch of other stuff. And I think, reading between the lines, they need an event planner. And I don't really work with any event planners at the moment, but I've been told by a few people that you are the person to work with. Perhaps we can meet up for a coffee, and I can give them I can give you their details, and you can give them a call up. They're waiting for a call. They do need to speak to somebody. Now, which phone call do you think, Sarah, the event planner, the imaginary event planner, which phone call do you think will make that person kind of more interested in speaking to you? And the answer is very simple. The second one, because you're talking to them about how you operate in the same circles as them, and you're offering them work. You're saying that you want to connect with them with somebody. So then the question becomes, how do you get these referrals? How can you refer business to this event planner to build up a relationship with them? Well, the simple answer there is, well, there's a couple of simple answers. First of all, when you get your normal inquiries anyway, say to them, so, you've had a phone call about performing at a corporate event. Say to them, have you organised a DJ yet? Have you organised a band? Have you organised this? Have you organised that? No? Okay, well, would you like me to pass your details over to a friend of mine? They're an event planner and they're fantastic. You would? Okay, I'll get them to get in touch. Can I give them your number? Brilliant, thank you very much. That's very simple, and I do that all of the time. I work with several different event planners in different parts of the UK, and whenever I get a booking, or whenever we get a booking here, we ask them if there's anything else they need, and we connect them to the relevant person. That's what business networking is all about. The other thing that you can do is actually go networking, where you meet a bunch of people. You meet lots and lots of people, and you find out about their business. There's going to be a lot of people that you meet that could potentially use the services of an event planner. So that's when you then connect that event planner to that person that you've just met. It's really simple. Networking is all about building up relationships with people and givers gain. You give them business, they're going to want to give you business. Now imagine if you contacted that event planner and gave them a gig, met up with them for a coffee, told them what you do, showed them a magic trick, and then next week you give them another referral, and then another referral. What do you think is going through the mind of that event planner? What's going through the mind of that event planner is, wow, I don't want this guy to stop giving me work. I better give him some work, because if I don't, he might go somewhere else. And now they're going to be pushing their clients to book a magician, and they're going to reciprocate back to you. And that is simply what networking is all about. Building up relationship with people and connecting various different people together. Don't just go in cold. Now, I haven't even discussed virtual networking, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, connecting people on LinkedIn. I haven't talked about any of that. But what I am telling you right now is Googling event planners and telling them that you are a magician ain't going to do any good at all. What you want to do is you want to find out who the event planners are in the area and build a relationship up with them. Try to offer them work, try to give them work, give them more work, and before you know it, you're going to have a reciprocal relationship with them that really is going to benefit both of you. And that ultimately is what it's all about. Okay, so the next question is from J Faulkner 95. Hey, how you doing? Who says, hey Craig, hope all is well with you and the fam. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. My question is, would you consider doing a live jam session? On a recent 5x5 with the close-up magic props, I think it would be cool to brainstorm in real time different props and routines to use for offbeat moments of magic. An idea would be to have a bell that can't ring, but then the spectator rings it when magic is nearby, and then have a hidden bell ring instead of snaps. Yeah, man, look, that's, first of all, a brilliant idea. But second of all, I'm totally into doing magic jams live. It's not something I've ever done. Lloyd used to do the Sunday service quite a lot on his YouTube channel. And so I didn't do it because I was invited on his YouTube channel and not to do the Sunday service thing. But he hasn't done that in a long time. So, it is something I definitely do. The question is which day. My weekends are normally ridiculously busy. And I do kind of have magic jams in the Netrix. Anybody who's on the silver level of the Netrix, we have weekly VMCs where we hang out and we talk to each other and we kind of jam and so on and so forth. So, but I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. Absolutely not. It's It's something that definitely I would consider doing. So watch this space. I think that's the best thing I can say to you. Watch this space. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, who puts a link in the comments and says, have you seen this with Tool? How I have Tool and I can't figure out what I need to do. Yes, I have. In fact, I've just seen it. I've just clicked on the link. Very good. I've got something very, very, very similar. I've slightly modified Tool to do something very similar, which I'll probably talk about on the Netrix at some point. But yeah, it's great. I mean, that's what I was saying the other day on that video. Tool is such an amazing prop and there's so much you can do with it. And it's a very underrated prop as well. Now, I've just put up on the Netrix explanations for all 8 of the tricks that I taught in the hows and whys of the Tool. And I will be doing a follow-up video on Tool with another bunch of routines at some point in the near future. So look out for that. But in answer to your question, yes, I have seen it and it's very good. Okay, so the next question is again from David Blaine, who says, you recently did a hows and whys of Tool. What's the pattern for hitting the deck with the box? I have Tool, haven't used it for years. If you hit the deck, they know it's in the box. Your suggestion, thanks again. First of all, I kind of disagree with you. I have Tool over here somewhere. Let me just go and get it. There we go. Yes, I do. So let's talk about this for a minute, shall we? So I have Tool here. Let's say that we are using it to make a card appear. So we're using it to make a card appear, right? So we've got the card and we're going to make a card appear. Now, yes, you have to hit the deck in order to do it, to make the card appear, for example. Yes, 100%. But there's a few things. So first of all, you could use it as a magical move. I want to watch very, very carefully. All I have to do is tap. And when I do, the card appears. Because here's the thing. Even if someone suspects the box, you immediately show the box as being completely normal. That's what you do with Tool. You show the box, you tap, you do the thing, and then you show the box again. So first of all, the tapping thing, it's a little bit like a magic wand. It's not really a problem as long as you don't make it a problem, if that kind of makes sense. The second thing that I would say is, if you're worried about that, structure the routine so that you're loading the gimmick on top of the box, on top of the deck, instead of taking the gimmick away. So instead of having it like this, you're like this. So you show the box, you show the cards, you snap your fingers, and when you do, the card appears. And now they can examine the box. So even if you think that they're worried that they're going to suspect the box, doing it in reverse like that will allow you to have the box examined, right? So that you can say, look, I've got the box here, I've got a deck of cards. Your card was the 10 of hearts, right? Watch, if I just put the box on here and snap my fingers, there's the 10 of hearts right there on the box, right? The other thing that I would say is, if you're worried about that sort of thing, use the box as cover. So say, look, I've got this 10 of hearts here. I'm going to put the 10 right there, and I'm just going to cover it up with the box for a minute. So we've got that deck of cards with the 10 on top underneath the card box. Now the idea is for me to make those cards disappear, which I can't even get to the cards because the box is on top of them. But if I snap my fingers, check that out, look, the 10's gone. And then, you know, because you're using Tool, you can actually reproduce that any way you want it to. But please don't worry about hitting the deck. You know, honestly, it's totally not an issue. So even if you are using it as a hitting the deck, or you could do it like this. I'm just riffing ideas now, or you could do it like this. So for example, you could say, look, I want you to hold your hand out, and I want you to just put your hand on top of the deck like that. So you grab their hand, you go to put it on top of the deck, and as you do, you gesture with this box. You say, look, I want you to put your hand on top of the deck. So you put their hand down there, they put the hand on top of the deck, this gets put to one side, and boom, the card has appeared underneath their hand. Because there's a big disconnect in that situation between the moment of magic and the perceived moment of magic. The perceived moment of magic is when they lift their hand and they see the 10 there. The actual moment of magic is when you did the move, right? Well, you do the move, and then you have time misdirection between when you do the revelation. So you go, look up, just put your hand on there. Yeah, like there, that's perfect. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can structure it so from the audience's point of view, nothing has happened. It looks like exactly the same thing. So for example, It could be that you're in this situation and you say, look, I want you to take a card, any card you want to. Which card do you want? This one here, the King of Hearts. Are you sure you want the King of Hearts? Okay, now here's the thing. Earlier on, I actually took a card from this deck and I put it inside this box. It's been here from the very beginning, and you could have picked any card, right? But you picked, let's get this right, there you go. You picked this one card, the King of Hearts, and inside this box from the very beginning, I actually had the King of Hearts. Now, you don't have to produce it from the box if you don't want to. The point I'm trying to make there is that it doesn't look like anything's happened. So it looks, in this case, they've picked a card, and you show the card, and it's on top of the deck, and you go, do me a favour, keep an eye on that card right there on top of the deck. Can you do that for me? Brilliant. Watch. Boom. It's gone. Check it out. Look, it's gone. So in that situation, the box is just being used to just gesture to the deck. But even after you've tapped the deck with the box, nothing's happened, which again delays the actual moment of magic and puts a big disconnect between the perceived and the actual moment of magic. So, but like I say, please don't be worried. Even if you just tap, even if you just tap like that, it's still not an issue because, that's your magical move. So, yeah, I understand your concern, but please don't be concerned. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician, who says, can you do a video on the best routines with the Timeline app, the one where the time goes back on your phone, then on their phone? Yeah, I've actually got a ton of routines that I do with that. In fact, I worked with Jasper Cherry on his America's Got Talent act. And if you saw him on America's Got Talent, he did a routine that used Timeline, and I helped him put that whole thing together. And I knew that Timeline would make an amazing moment on TV, and it does, obviously. I've got a bunch of stuff that I use Timeline for. This is not the video to do that. But if you want me to do like a hows and whys of the Timeline app, I am more than happy to do that. I'll put it together and I'll get it up in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so the next question is Radio Man J, who says, hi Craig, thanks for your videos and the passion you put into them. You're more than welcome. I'll cut to the chase. I'll cut the praise. I could go on for hours and go straight to my question. Halloween is fast approaching and kids will show up at my door asking for candy. Being a magician, I'd love to produce the candy in a magical way. Last year, I used the change bag to produce them out of thin air, which was a success. Any other ideas for tricks that are quick, snappy, and can be performed to kids? Standing at my door, which will end up with candy that I can hand out. Not necessarily looking to buy a commercial prop. Even just some simple ideas with common items will do. Thanks in advance. Well, I'll give you a couple of commercial props first of all. So first of all, Kieran Leifer published many years ago on an RSVP video the concept of producing a lollipop from a flash of from a piece of flash paper. So he'd take the flash paper, light it, and he'd make a lollipop appear. And as you put the lighter away, he'd grab a second lollipop and split those lollipops into two and give them to people. You could do that very easily. So you could bring out a piece of paper, light it, turns into a lollipop, and then split it and give them two lollipops. Another commercially available prop is the trick that Penguin Magic put out last year, which involved having a coin and the coin turns into a lolly. You put a stick on it and then it's a real lolly. You could do that absolutely 100%. That's a really great trick. That's from Penguin Magic. There was also kind of a version of that came out years ago where you blow a bubble and you catch it and it turns into a real bubble, a ceramic bubble, and you put a stick in it and you shake it and you turn it into a lollipop and then they get to keep the lollipop. Both of those would work great. Kids love bubbles. They also love lollies. So both of those would work. If anybody is old enough like me to remember Morecambe and Wise, Eric Morecambe used to do a wonderful thing with a paper bag, which is he held a paper bag and he snapped his fingers. And when he snapped his fingers, it made it look like something was falling into the bag. And it's so magical. Even now, it's so magical. So you could palm like a chocolate bar or something, which are easy to palm because they kind of run that way. So you can palm like a chocolate bar, show the bag is empty, take a piece of nothing, throw it up in the air, boom. Apparently you've caught something in the bag. and then you reach into the bag with the palmed object and you take it out and you give it them, that would work really well as well. If you are doing it in your house and you could set up by the front door like a table with a Savant, you could do like a coffee cups and beans thing from Vulpine Productions. But instead of making the coffee beans appear, when you do the load, you could make like candy appear and Skittles or whatever, which would look really good. Talking about Skittles, you could maybe do the Rubik's Cube thing, Cube to Chocolate, that Henry Harry has brought out, where you take the Rubik's Cube and you hit it and it turns into candy. That's a really cool thing to do. There was a trick that Alakazam brought out through Ace Magic Studios, where candy turned into a playing card, turned into some candy. Ryland does it. It's really cool. So you could do that. You could take out the playing card, turn it into candy. That works. Anything like that would be really good. But the flash paper thing, if you want to keep it really simple, just get yourself a few sheets of flash paper and just produce lollipops over and over again. I think that's probably your best bet. But there's a few ideas there that should keep you going and give you a few ideas of where to go. Okay, so the next question is Yuri. Hey, Yuri, who says, hi, Craig, how you doing? I'm very good, thank you very much. First of all, congratulations with the Netrix Destiny deal that you've just bought out. Also, congratulations with joining the Alakazam Unlimited platform. Alakazam Unlimited just doubled their value with you on their team. Dude, thank you so much. It was the best news I got on last week. Anyway, I have 3 questions I hoped you could answer for me. I only see one question, Yuri, here. Unless I'm being stupid, I only see one question. It says, 1, do you ever think you're going to add more Sharpie and ring routines to the Netrix? I don't see any other questions. Yes, I'm definitely going to add more ring and string routines than Netrix. Sorry, some more ring and Sharpie routines than Netrix. I wanted to get I was going to do it this week. I was going to do the portable hold trick this week and also a bunch of Sharpie stuff. But the problem was, so many people are harassing me about the explanations for the tool stuff. I'm like, we'll do explanations of all 8 tool tricks and create a section on the Netrix for tool. We'll do that this upload, and then the next upload we'll switch it up to other stuff. So hopefully on the next upload, it's going to be a few Sharpie things. I want to make a big section on Sharpie manipulation. And I want to have that done by November. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff being uploaded onto the Netrix to do with both Sharpies and rings. Okay, the next question is from Damian Wheeler, who says, hi Craig, on a recent 5x5 you mentioned that you do a mentalism routine with the purse frame. Would you be willing to elaborate? Thanks for all you do for the magic community. I can't really elaborate right now, and the only reason I can't is because I have filmed for Alakazam a purse frame project. Which is a big project all about the purse frame. And when I say big, I mean huge mungus. Now, I'll probably talk about mentalism and purse frames at some point on the channel, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about anything like that now, because obviously Alakazam have this project coming out at some point in the next year. But suffice to say, there is a lot of stuff you can do with mentalism and a purse frame. I know it sounds mental, I know it sounds mad, but there is a lot of mentalism style stuff that you can actually do with the purse frame. And when you see this purse frame project come out at some point, you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so the next question is from James Highground Magic, who says, hi Craig, hi. Thanks a million for everything you do. You're a diamond in the rough. I appreciate that, buddy. Question about audience management. What would you do in this situation? Story. Just yesterday at my regular restaurant residency, I had a table of 12, 8 10 to 6-year-old girls, 2 toddler boys, too small for any effect, and their 2 mothers who were checked out with a glass of wine. Okay, fair enough. I had entertained 3 of these girls on 2 other occasions, and they really loved the magic. Okay, and really love the magic. So they're anticipating me being there this day. However, with the new addition of their 5 extra friends, all they wanted to do was catch me, heckle me, and call me on what they thought was going on. It's in his ring. It's under his watch. I know how to do this trick. It devolved into a shouting. Is there something wrong with my thing? Is there something wrong with my YouTube here?
In joining 5.
Because I can't seem to see your question either. I think maybe I can... Let's just see if I can do this. 1 minute. I'm trying to fix whatever's wrong with my computer. See if I can see the rest of your question. Now I've refreshed. I can see Yuri's other questions as well. Sorry about that, guys. Right, let me just finish reading more on yours and I'll go back to Yuri. However, the new edition of their 5 extra friends, all they wanted to do was catch me, heckle me, and call me out on what they thought was going on. It's in his ring, under his watch, and how to do that trick, etc., etc. It devolved into a shouting match amongst them, all making my plans fully interrupted and negating any impression and effect impossible at every step of the routine. Which none of them had seen yet. Attempts at collaring their attention and focus failed again and again, and the mums were oblivious to my now role as a free babysitter. Finally, they had some other friends, 2 older girls, at another table nearby who were interested, so I wrapped up and moved there. One of the original girls asked if she could do one this time, perfect an assistant. I decided to do the egg bag, but the girl defied all directions and just called out the suspect's secret pocket, then reached over and grabbed the egg and crushed it inside the bag during phase 2. I had just failed miserably at 2 tables over this and left those usually fun girls feeling less joyful as my patience waned. Ugh. I had to take a 15-minute break to reset myself after that insanity. What would you do in this situation? So the first thing that I would do is, there's a few ways to handle this. The first way to handle this is to remove yourself from the situation. I ain't nobody's babysitter. And if it's getting to the point where they're just not enjoying the entertainment and they're not enjoying me being there and it's just me versus them, I'm just going to excuse myself. I don't care if I've performed for them before. I'm just going to excuse myself. I'm going to say, hey guys, I can see that you're, whatever. Hey guys, thanks very much for watching. I've got to get around all the other tables in the restaurant now. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. Have a great day. And I'm just going to walk. That's the first thing that you could do. The second thing that I would say is when you went to that other table and you had one of the people that was causing a problem come over and join you and ask to do a trick, that is not the time to do anything that could be busted. Like, I love egg bag. I do it all of the time. Egg bag is amazing. But if you've got a spectator that's grabby, if you've got a spectator that is the sort of spectator that's trying to figure out how things are done and show off. Don't forget, you're talking about girls, 8, 10 to 6-year-old girls. They're probably showing off. The older kids are probably showing off to the younger kids. It just happens. You don't want to do something like egg bag. Egg bag is reserved for when the audience are having a great time, they're enjoying it, it's all going really well. That's when you do egg bag. You don't do egg bag at that situation. You want to do the stuff that works inside out, back to front, upside down, left way, sideways. You're never going to get caught out on it. It's always going to be 100% working, right? I'm not going to tell you what tricks they are, because everybody has their own tricks in their repertoire that they consider to be absolutely bulletproof. In that situation, you do bulletproof tricks. The other thing is, from an entertaining kids and controlling kids point of view, one of the most important things about performing for kids, and I don't know if you've done kid shows before, but this is why I say so many close-up magicians would benefit from doing kid shows, because you learn this stuff at the very first kid show you do. But you don't want to reward bad behavior. If you're telling the kids not to do this, not to do that, not to do the other, and they're doing it, and then they come over and one of the girls says, can I help? You go, well, I got to be honest with you. There's some other, I'm going to get this person to help me here, because I don't think you were focusing on the magic at the previous table, and I really needed to focus and understand what's going on, else you can't help me. But I tell you what, if you watch this one and you watch the next one and you're completely laser focused, yeah, absolutely, you can help me, or something like that, whatever. But don't reward bad behavior. Don't, if somebody is being an absolute pain in the arse and then says, can I help? Don't go, yeah, because then they'll think, well, it doesn't matter what I do to this person, I'm still going to be able to get my own way. Just say no and explain why not. No, I don't think so, because, you're you know, it was a bit. I don't think you're enjoying the magic as much as you normally do. That's the problem. So I'm gonna get them to help me this time, or whatever it may be. Because if they love magic and they keep coming back and they enjoy helping, I can see what's happening here. They're definitely showing off to their friends, you know. But they love magic. If they're going to be a pain like that, don't let them. Don't let them. Don't reward bad behavior. So that's the second thing. The other thing that you could do if you still want to stay at the table, like I would have removed myself, but let's say the restaurant really wants you to do that table and you got to stay there. I would consider maybe teaching them a trick. I'd take a rubber band off my wrist. I'd show them jumping rubber band. I'd teach them jumping rubber band. I'd give every single one of those kids a rubber band so they can follow along with me. And then I'd get them to show each other and come up with a presentation and perform it in front of each other. And I'll give a prize to the best presentation after about 10 minutes or something. Because that allows you to not be in performer mode. And the big problem that you've got here is them shouting out how the trick's done. It's in his watch, it's in his ring, it's this, it's that, it's the other. But if you switch to teaching them how to do a magic trick, well, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. Because if they go, oh, I know how that works. You're pulling the ring back and you're putting your fingers in there. Yeah, I just said I'm teaching you how this works. Did you not hear? Were you not listening? Yeah, I'm teaching you how it works. You don't need to guess. And so it takes all the wind out their sails. The thing that they're trying to do, which is guess method, is stupid because you're telling them the method anyway. So by teaching them a trick, it's going to it's going to take their power away from it, if that makes sense. So any of those would work. The key thing is, with experience, you'll know how to deal with these sort of things a lot quicker. Yeah, and honestly, 9 times out of 10, the key thing is to just remove yourself from the situation and just go over to another table. Okay, so the next question is from Michael Stager, who says, hi Craig, I'm working on starting gigs for my local area, but I'm concerned that there's not a market for it as there isn't really a magic community near me. Any advice on how to start building a consistent market would be greatly appreciated. Okay, hey Craig, I'm working on starting gigs in my local area, but I'm concerned that there's not a market for it as there isn't really a magic community near me. Any advice on how to start building a consistent market would be greatly appreciated. I'm doing a video on this soon. P.S. I may have commented something similar before and you talked about it on a video, so I may have missed it. I'm doing a video on this, on how to 10 things that you need to do if you're going to start a magic business. So I'm going to defer to that video, which is coming soon. However, there is one point that I want to make here, because you say I'm working on starting gigs in my local area, but you're concerned that there's not a market for it because there isn't really a magic community near me. Let me tell you a story. It's a genuinely fake story. It's not true, but it's a very important story to hear. So I want to tell you a story about a man who sold shoes. He had some shoe shops over here in the UK, and very, very popular, really good business, sold lots of shoes, and he had 2 sons. And one day, the man who ran this empire decided he wanted to start selling shoes abroad. He wanted to move into a different country. And for some reason, he decided Africa would be the country to go to. And so he said to his oldest son, we are going to open up a shoe shop in Africa, and I would like you to head it up and make it successful. His son, being a dutiful son, said, yes, Dad, of course. And he went and caught an airplane over to Africa to go and set up a shoe shop. And when he got there, he because it was like really deep into Africa, it wasn't, it was like really deep. You had to get like 4 aeroplanes to get there. When he came off the plane and he looked around, the majority of the people there weren't even wearing shoes. And he phoned up his dad and he said, Dad, we got a problem. There's hardly anybody here wearing shoes. Nobody is going to want to buy what we've got. This is not going to work. I'm going to come back now on the next flight. This is ridiculous. So his dad said, okay, no problem, son. And then immediately rang his youngest son. And he said to his youngest son, son, we're going to open up a shoe shop over in Africa. I think it's a really good idea. I would like you to go and fly over and set it up. And his youngest son said, yes, of course. So he flew over in the airplane. Same thing happened. He landed in Africa. And he got out and he looked around, and the majority of people weren't wearing shoes. And he immediately picked up his phone and he rang his dad. And he said, Dad, nobody here is wearing shoes. It's amazing. Everybody is going to want what we've got to sell. We're going to make a killing over here. And the difference between the two sons is the outlook they had on the situation and attitude. Anytime you get yourself into a situation in business, you can look at it in a negative way or you can look at it in a positive way. And if you look at it in a negative way, there's a very good chance it's not going to work. Anytime I've told myself something's not going to work, I've proved myself right. Anytime I've said to myself things are going to work out, they have. You're in an area where there's no magicians. There's not really a magic community. And you want to know how to start a magic business? There's two ways of looking at this. The first way is going, oh my God, there's no magicians here. Nobody books magicians. I'm not going to do well at all. Nobody is going to want magicians because there's no magicians here. Or the other way of looking at it is, there's no magicians here. I literally have no competition. All I have to do is educate people on what I do and why magic is absolutely the best thing to have at any event that these people are planning. And I'm going to make an absolute fortune. It's going to be like the Wild West. It's going to be gold rush territory. And you know what? Depending on how you look at this scenario is going to be a big cause as to what happens moving forward. If you choose to be looking at this in a way where you kind of think, well, you know what, this is amazing, then I guarantee you it's going to work out. And it's as simple as that. Now, in terms of the practicality of this, how to actually get gigs, how to actually set up your business so that you can go and get gigs, there's a lot to talk about there, and that's something that I am going to talk about. So look out for some videos coming over October and November. I'm going to be talking more about business in those videos than I ever have before. But my advice is, get excited about this, because very few people find themselves in a situation where their area is literally untouched. You are going to do so well if you believe that you will. Okay, so the next question is Hankster27, who says he's got two questions this week. First, what is the magnus opus of card through window? I've always loved the idea of having someone sign a card and then calling attention to the window before spraying the glass with the deck. Please don't say Joel Miranda's version. I don't want to go broke over one trick. Well, look, I've got to be honest with you. There's lots of different ways of doing the card through window. Peter Egging's come up with ways in the past. John Kennedy's come up with ways in the past. And typically any of those ways that are considered practical involve the card being hidden behind some covering and dropping down at some point when nobody's looking. That basically is the method behind card through window. Joel Miranda's version is different. It's a different approach. It's not hidden behind the window. I mean, the way that is surefire, the way that I used to do it in restaurants, and I haven't done card through window in years, but the way I used to do it is I had a friend who used to stick cards behind the windows for me. You know, I would take him to a restaurant, I'd sit him in the bar, buy him a few drinks, and when I knew I was going to do card through window, because I was going up to a group where they were sitting next to a window, I'd have him stick the card behind the window at the opportune time, and then I'd just spring the cards at the window. Realistically, that's probably the best way of doing it. A lot of these gimmicks and a lot of these ways of doing it doesn't really work. Honestly, there's not really a way to do a card through window outside of being on stage in an environment like a restaurant without having some sort of covering over the window. There's not really a way to do it, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to put a card through a window, you have to have the card on the other side of the window, which means somebody has to put it there, or it has to be there in place already, and it falls down into position. That's it. You know, I mean, that's it. Unless I'm missing something. It's a good plot. Like, I've never really been in love with the plot. It's a good plot. I think Joel Miranda's version is the best version I've ever seen, but it's, you know, it is what it is. I would just have someone shove it behind the window when they're not looking. That's what I would do if I were you. Okay, so the next question is again from the Hankster, who says, I have a friend who's not a magician, but I've taught him a little so I could have some constructive criticism on what could be better. The other day, we were all hanging out and someone said to me, do a trick. So I did my original nest of wallets routine. Everybody loved it. And someone offered to pay me money as a joke. I obviously declined, but then my friend started talking about how it could go to my magic fund so I could buy gimmicks and trick decks at Penguin Magic. I was absolutely horrified. What advice could you give me to ensure something like this never happens again? I don't really see too much of a problem, really, to be honest, unless I'm missing something, mate. I don't really see too much of a problem because, like, your friend, you've taught him how to do a couple of simple tricks so he can give you constructive criticism. That's great. But he doesn't know about the magic industry. He probably doesn't know about our code of ethics. He doesn't know about not teaching people how tricks are done or this, that, and the other. So he's just kind of thinking, why would you not do it? This guy's offered you $20. Say yes, it's $20. Why would you not? And, you know, it's an intelligent way of looking at things. I mean, obviously, he doesn't know the industry, so he doesn't realise that that's a huge no-no. But, you know, I don't see the problem. And you're horrified that he said that you could buy gimmicks and trick decks at Penguin Magic. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I don't hide the fact that, you know, there's magic shops. I don't like people to think that magic is real. I'm not a Shaolin monk. I don't do real magic. I do tricks. I actually say it, you know, Destiny Deal. Think about Destiny Deal, my new trick. The hook line is, hey, I just bought a new trick from the magic shop. It's amazing. Would you like to see it? And then I go into Destiny Deal. So I genuinely don't see a problem with that, my friend. I genuinely don't. It's definitely something I personally wouldn't be horrified about. So I can't give you advice to ensure something like this never happens again unless you educate your friend and you go, look, you know, don't mention magic shops in front of other people. I don't want people to know I buy magic. I want them to think that I have magic coursing through my veins or whatever it may be. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what advice to give you, I'm afraid, buddy, because I don't see the issue of what your friend's done wrong there, if I'm being honest. Okay, so the next question is again from Hankster, who says 10 tricks that would work on a Got Talent. I think that would be a great video. I agree 100%. I will definitely do this video. I've actually already started planning it. It's harder than you'd think. But yes, definitely I will do that video for you. Okay, so Hankster has got one more question, which is, what do I think of app of the year will be? I'm currently voting for Gaslight. Gaslight is very good. What is the app of the year? Damn. My favourite one at the moment that's come out this year is that Salt Revelation thing. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if you've seen it. I did it on a mat test on Tuesday. So if you go back to the mat test on Tuesday, I did this mat test, and you sprinkle salt over the phone, and it's a way to actually reveal a playing card or something like that. It's brilliant. It's really, really good, and it's very, very easy to do. So at the moment, that's my favourite. Gaslight's really good, but I'd say that's my favourite at the moment. Okay, so the next question is from Happy Pancakes, who says, great name. Hi, Craig. I've been watching your videos for a while and I really enjoy the content. After seeing the video last week, which turned into a rant, I had to reply to your videos because it's always good for you to hear. You rock. The magic community needs you. You give so much as a performer and my magic journey in the community as a whole. Thank you, Craig, for all you do. Best wishes to you, your family, your team, as well as all the Magic TV fans. We love Craig. Keep going strong because most importantly, Magic needs you. Thanks for everything. Happy Pancakes. Thank you so much. You don't realise how much I need to hear that sometimes because things can be quite difficult occasionally, you know. It can be quite difficult producing content. Whenever you put yourself out there, there's always going to be people that want to knock you down, and I get that sometimes, and I do get more annoyed than I should do, so I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, I really appreciate the support. I really mean it. Thank you. Okay, so the next question is from Logan Serini, who says, hi, Craig. I think you took my comment really far out of context. It was meant to be a response comment to the other magician who had a bad experience at a wedding convention. It was not meant to be a question or a jab at you, but I definitely see how you could take it that way. When I say magic can be ego-driven, I didn't mean it's a bad thing. Also, when I said Wrong, people. I was referring to online trolls as such. My apologies for the poorly written comments. Honestly, I don't remember it. If I snapped, I didn't mean to. I was having a very bad week last week, as you probably are aware. Now you've seen the rant video. I do agree with everything you said about ego. I just hope you don't perceive it as negatively towards you after reading this. Not at all, buddy. Not at all. Not at all. Thank you for being here on Magic TV. And if I snapped at you, I'm very sorry. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Devereaux, who is from South Africa, and says, "Hey, Craig, hope you and the family is well." Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, buddy. Do you ever get bored of the same tricks after a while if you only have so much and can't always buy new tricks? Yeah, I take tricks out of rotation from time to time, and then I put them back in. I've just put back in to rotation the Turbo Stick by Richard Sanders. That's been out of my repertoire for probably about 2.5 years. I've just put it back into my repertoire. Love Turbo Stick. Absolutely love Turbo Stick. But I got to the point where I was kind of a bit bored with it. That happens from time to time. You've got to freshen things up. It's why I've never understood the magicians that say, "I've been doing the same tricks for 20 years. And I do the same 6 tricks and I've never changed it. And that's all I do. And as long as I do the 6 tricks, my audiences will be happy." And I'm like, bloody hell, shoot me in the head. I would get bored doing the same tricks over and over again. I would get so unbelievably bored. So yeah, I always change things around. And you say that, you can't always buy new tricks. No, you can't, but you can dip into old books and take old tricks that you took out of rotation and put them back into rotation, dip into, old videos that you've had from years ago. Just constantly try and keep things as fresh as possible. Spooky Kid says, if you order the Sven project, go ahead and get a few extra Sven decks. I'd recommend 3, 4, or 5, depending on your budget. It comes with 1, but you'll want more. It'll be worth it. Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy with the response that the Svengali project has had. So thank you to each and every one of you. Okay, so the next question is from MCK Magic, who says, "Hi, Craig. Do you have any resources or advice on getting started in comedy clubs?" Not really. I haven't really done comedy clubs myself too much. I've done a few, but not really. And none of them went particularly well. What I would do, first of all, is go and check out the interview I did with Jack Rhodes. So go and look at Jack Rhodes' interview that I did on Magic TV. He talked about comedy clubs in quite detailed ways. So definitely have a look at Jack Rhodes. Second of all, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is be prepared to go out for virtually no money. You know, the thing with magicians is magicians... from the second that they feel ready to go out to do gigs, they want to get paid thousands of dollars, which is fine. But with stand-up comedians, I know so many comedians that are professional that will travel from one side of the UK to the other just for 20 quid. They don't even break even, and it's all about having your face seen. So hopefully you can break into that next tier and that next tier, and eventually maybe, just maybe, get a tour or get some of that Netflix money. So be prepared to be broke. Be prepared to do a lot of shows where you're doing just 10 minutes and that's it, and you're paying a fortune to get there. And go out and do as many open mic nights as you can, because honestly, the similarity between magic and comedy clubs is it's all about flight time. The more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. And finally, unlike magic, you need original material. You know, the thing with magic is you can have 5 people going out and doing exactly the same act because we buy the tricks, you know, and we might put our own personality onto it, but everyone's kind of doing the same thing. Whilst with comedy clubs, that's not the case. You have to have your own original, unique material. You don't want to be ripping anyone else off. So the final question today is from AG Casteldo 1995, who says, "Can you give us any details on the Savant Deck?" Nope. Go on then. So the Savant Deck is one of the decks that me and Lloyd are working on together. As you are probably aware, we worked on the Infinity deck together. We've been working on a Gaff deck for about 3 years now. We've got a couple of other decks that we're working on, but one that we're really closely working on is the Savant Deck. And the Savant Deck is a new concept in Magic that me and Lloyd have been working on for a while now. It's going to be coming out probably Middle of, no, I don't know. You never know with Murphys. I know they're in production. It could be beginning of next year. It could be middle of next year. It's definitely going to be soon. It could even be early next year. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but it's coming out soon. And I think that we've got between us about 400 routines. And the deck is examinable, completely examinable. You can examine it. You can shuffle it as much as you want to. There's no stack. There's no marks at all. Anybody who was using it would think it was a normal deck of 52 playing cards. But there's a ton of secrets built into it that allow you to perform incredible magic. But it's coming soon, probably very beginning of next year, if not maybe just before Blackpool. So there you go, guys. That is another review. It's not a review show, is it? That's another Q&A in the bag. Do me a favour. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you want to get a question in, get it in by Monday, really, because then I'll definitely get your question answered. If I missed it, ask it down below and I'll get to it next week. Thank you once again for asking all these questions. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. So thank you very much. Let me know if you're excited about the Savant Deck down below. Let me know about everything. I want to know. Just put the comments down below. That's what we need. And don't forget, we've got a great review show special going up tonight. If you haven't seen the interview from yesterday, go check it out, because it's Alon from the Magic Alon Society, and it's one of the best interviews you'll ever see. Anyway, I will see you again soon. Thank you once again for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV. Oh, by the way, don't forget to mention, you've got to go check out the Netrix, www.thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform for magicians, and you can get access immediately. There's thousands of people on there now, and I'd love to see you on there as well. There's so much magic, you're never going to learn it all, and it's amazing. So I'll see you there.